Third time's the charm, right? Third time recording this video, guys. Pissed. Can I sit you here? Because last time I had to hold you. I think I'm just going to have to hold you. Hopefully we don't get interrupted and stuff this time and that this works out because I'm getting frustrated with recording it. So our book today, I've already done the stitching for because that was the first attempt. So our blanket has a shimmery pink stripe on it for urban fantasy. The book we are talking about is Running with the Alpha Sun. It is book 3 in a series that was originally marketed as a trilogy by Penny Jessup, but it now has book 4 coming out this spring, supposedly. Book 4's title has not been announced yet, though. And so my glasses are causing issues. If I take them off, will that help? I'm sorry. I can't see you, but that's all right. There were just glares. I don't need to see you to be able to talk to you. So, Running with the Alpha Sun by Penny Jessup is the third book in this series, all right? It takes place immediately following the events of book 2. I don't know if I can talk about this book. I can't talk about this book without spoiling the other 2. So if you haven't read the other 2 and you want to, please do. The spoilers in here come mainly from book 2. So in book 1, Max goes to join a summer camp for a run, finds out his true mate is the Alpha Sun. Neither of them anticipated being mated to a guy. So this immediately throws an identity crisis their way, right? Max accepts this information better than Jasper. Jasper's all like, I'm the Alpha Sun. This can't happen. And spends the entire first book fighting it. But then is like, but I kind of like you, all right? Second book goes in. Same situation. Max is now getting freaking tired of Jasper denying their mate bond. And he's like, you either have to reject me or do something because I can't keep living in limbo, right? So book 2 ends with Jasper making this big proclamation in front of his pack, stating that Max is his mate, letting everyone know this. And it's kind of left at a cliffhanger because you don't know how the pack is going to react to this. And right before that, Jasper and Max just fought off one of Jasper's ex-best friends who was trying to kill them, all right? And it sets the groundwork for an even bigger plot. So this book, book 3, Running with the Alpha Sun, takes place immediately following the New Year's party, all right? Jasper drops Max off at his house. Max and Jasper are now in a committed relationship. They're trying to figure out what that means for them. And not only that, Jasper is now trying to make amends because the pack house was invaded by rogues in book 2, and a bunch of the other packs don't feel safe being allied to theirs anymore. So his dad is sending him on political trips to make amends and make sure that their bonds are stable. And so Max is texting him like crazy and goes, dude, I know you're busy and I know that the pack is important, but we have to figure out us. Can we take a moment, take a trip, and figure this out? And on top of that, Max in book 2 also found out he's something called a blood wolf, which means he has all these extra powers that the other wolves don't have. And he is literally connected to all other wolves. And he's struggling with migraines because some wolf is reaching out to him and he can't figure out who it is. All right? So Max is going on through this identity crisis, trying to figure out his new self, trying to figure out their relationship, talks Jasper into taking a vacation. So they go to a vacation, right? While they're on this vacation, they find what's called a rogue sanctuary. Rogues are wolves that are not part of a pack, okay? Max sees them as being wolves. Like, he doesn't discriminate against them. He thinks that they're just, without the pack, they're just wolves that are in poverty, basically. Jasper has been raised to see wolves as violent, as evil, as less than, and so he's struggling with this concept, especially when he finds out his mother, who is dead through this whole series, was friends with these rogues. And he's like, excuse me, my mom did what? She helped you do what? At this point, there is a sentence in this book that I wish the author had expanded on, and the sentence is, a wolf that looked eerily similar to Jasper's mother sat on the council. Who is she? An aunt? A cousin? A grandmother? We don't know. The author doesn't tell us, and I wish that had been expanded on. But while they're at this sanctuary, Max is learning how to control his blood wolf powers. Jasper's learning things about his identity, and then they are immediately thrust back into the real world with a big crisis, all right? In true Penny Jessup fashion, from book 1 to book 3, This is called a slow burn. Slow burn is usually applied for romance, right? If a book is a slow burn, it means it takes the whole book for our romantic interest to get together. At this point, they are together, all right? But it is still a slow burn in the sense that the whole book moves at a glacier pace. I'm not even joking, until the last, 15%. And I was like, there better be a climax coming. I mean, if there's not something big at the end like there were in the other two books, I'm going to be very disappointed in this book. There turned out to be two big things that were revealed in this book. And the final scene left me angry. Because the final scene is Max sitting alone in a hotel room, in a hospital hallway and on a hospital roof by himself, not knowing if, and I can't tell you all the things that lead up to this, but not knowing if Jasper's going to survive. He's in surgery and he doesn't know if Jasper's going to survive. He calls Jasper's dad, the alpha, Jericho. He shows up. He's like, yo, Max, are you okay? Max is like, I'm fine, but I don't know what's going on with Jasper. And Jericho's like, he'll pull through. He's cool. I need to know who did this. And so Max explains the situation, and Jasper's like, if this is true, not Jasper, Jericho's like, if this is true, I have to handle this right now. And he freaking leaves the hospital. He leaves Max there with his son in surgery to go handle pack matters, which is Max's big issue with this whole thing, is the fact that both Jasper and Jericho seem to put the pack up before everything else. And the pack is important and they are the leaders, but he thinks that they need to take time for their own family and stuff. Which me personally thinks it's a trait of a good Luna, but whatever. So anyway, so he's mad about that, and I'm kind of mad about that, but at the same time, it's predictable that Jericho would do that because he's the leader of the pack, and he just found out that someone on the inside is destroying their pack from the inside, and so he's got to go bite the situation in the butt. He's got to take care of this, right? And so Max calls his parents to come sit with him. They don't answer. They're probably doing something else, but they don't answer. He calls his best friend Katie, who he's in and out on. Their relationship is kind of waning in here. She doesn't answer. He calls his and Jasper's close confidant. I'm going to butcher her name. I'm awful at it. I believe it's Aisha. Aisha maybe? Calls her. She doesn't answer, but she does eventually call him back, and she's pissed off that no one's at the hospital with him. And their call gets dropped before she can get to him. She never shows up before the end of this book. This book literally ends with Max alone on top of the hospital contemplating what to do, what to stand up for. Because half of the pack hates him, okay? The other half is so overjoyed that he's there because he is showing that it's okay to be mated to the same sex. It's okay to break social norms. Half of the pack is excited that he is wanting to help Jasper and Jericho find a way to be peaceful with the rogues, and half are like, the rogues are evil, we cannot trust them. And so it leaves it on this massive cliffhanger where Max is alone, and he's trying to figure out everything. And I'm sad and I'm mad because Max didn't deserve to be alone in that situation. It was so unfair. Ultimately, I had to decide when I came up to this book whether I wanted to give it a 3-star or a 4-star. I debated. I knew it wasn't a 5-star book because, in the words of my nephew, I've read better books. I've read better books in this series. Book 1 was a 5-star book to me, okay? It left me wanting more. It left me thinking about it when I closed the book. I closed the book on this and I was just like, I'll read it later. I wasn't chomping at the bit to get back to it. So that automatically to me is a 4. It's not something I cared about, even though I love the series. So then I was like, 4 or 3. And I was like, well, it moves super slow. I wish it had picked up pace faster. It felt really dragged on, and it really felt more... It is a YA book. It is meant for teens, okay? But it felt like a TV teen drama, unlike the other two. It definitely had the vibes of one for me. And so I was like, that's more of a 3, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the massive reveal, and the whole thing that led to the hospital gave me a heart attack. So I did ultimately settle on a 4-star review for this book. Okay, if you like werewolves, go pick it up. You won't like it if you're not okay with MM romances. It's not the only romance that's featured in here. There's straight romances, there's polyamorous romances. There's a lot of politics mentioned in here between packs. The overall theme is, well, discrimination. Like, the rogues are wolves, right? They're werewolves, but they're being discriminated against, and they were cast out from their own packs for various reasons. Like, we meet Omar. He was kicked out of his pack because he was supposed to be mated with a guy in his pack, and his pack did not agree with male-male relationships, and so they were told they either had to reject each other or leave the pact, and his mate rejected him, but he refused to reject his mate, so he got kicked out. But his mate got to stay. And then there are other ones that willfully left the pack, and then there are kids who were born into rogue status. All right, and so it deals with class division and politics and poverty and discrimination, coming of age, finding your own self. There is an intimate scene, but it is well done for a YA book. It is not 18 plus. It is implied sexual intimacy, but not shown. It's a closed door situation. Jasper looks at Max and says, "Is this okay?" And Max says, "Yes." And he goes, "Do you want to?" And Max says, "Yes." And then it switches to the morning after. And so you don't actually see anything, which is really good for a YA book. That type of explicit content should not be in a YA book. It should be new adult and above. Because yes, teens do experience that. Yes, they are intimate with each other sometimes, but it is not age appropriate to show that. All right. And as a YA author, one of the things I look for when I read a YA romance is it closed door? Is it open door? Is it partial door? This is closed door. That's what a YA should be. And so I gave it 4 stars because it checked all the boxes. It just wasn't my favorite book in this series. And because it wasn't my favorite book, I could not confidently give it a 5-star review. But yeah, that's Running with the Alpha Sun by Penny Jessup. And hopefully the next book I have to review for you for our book blanket will be Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. I have it downloaded in audiobook and it's 4 hours and I'm planning on starting it tonight. But we will see if I get there. And so, yeah, guys, thanks for joining me to this not so Stitches and Stories corner for Stitches and Stories. Love you all. Stay awesome. Stay amazing. And don't discriminate, guys. Love you. Bye.